still remember the exact moment I realized my garage wasn't mine anymore. The metallic click of the door opening felt wrong, almost hostile. I had come home after a 12-hour shift at the diner, the kind of day that leaves your bones aching and your brain foggy, only to see a shiny black SUV sitting smugly in my space. "Karen?" I muttered, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. The name rolled off my tongue like a curse. Inside the SUV, a woman in her mid-40s looked at me, her eyes wide with surprise. "Oh, hi. I didn't know anyone lived here. I thought this was like a spot anyone could use," she said casually, flipping her hair over her shoulder. My chest tightened. "This is my garage. My home comes with this garage," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, though it trembled with frustration. Karen smiled. That fake, polished kind of smile that makes you want to spit. "Well, I'm just here for a couple of hours. I'll move soon." A couple of hours? I had seen her SUV here every night this week. Every night. And every night, I had to park half a block away, lugging groceries and laundry like a nomad in my own neighborhood. "Look, Karen, I've asked nicely before, but this isn't a public spot. You can't just—" I stopped, realizing I had said too much. I needed proof. I needed control. I needed my garage back. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the scene, imagining her smug face, imagining the frustration that built up like steam in a kettle. Then, like a spark in the dark, I remembered something my brother once said: "Control what you can control, and let go of the rest." The next morning, I went online and discovered a new garage reservation app. Paid reservations, digital locks, alerts, the works. It was perfect. I could reclaim my garage and have proof anyone who tried to invade my space would be recorded. By noon, I had the app installed, a shiny new lock bolted into place, and a reservation set for me only. Karen wouldn't get a single accidental, "Oh, I didn't know" excuse again. That evening, I saw her SUV creeping down the street. She stopped, stared at the garage, and then froze. My new lock gleamed in the sunset. Her phone buzzed with a notification. "This garage is reserved. Access denied." She honked, waved, even mouthed something like, "What happened?" But I just smiled, leaned back against my car, and whispered to myself, "Finally, my space." The relief was intoxicating, but so was the lesson. Boundaries aren't just polite suggestions, they're necessary. And sometimes, standing up for yourself isn't about confrontation, it's about taking action. Smart action. That night, I sat in my garage, sipping a cold soda, feeling victorious, but also aware of something deeper. People like Karen test us, not just our patience, but our ability to reclaim what's rightfully ours. Little did I know Karen wasn't done, and my garage was about to become the battlefield I never expected. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of honking. Not the casual honk of a delivery truck, but the sharp, angry kind that rattles your nerves before your eyes even open. I peeked through the blinds. Sure enough, Karen. Her SUV was parked sideways across the street. Engine running, hazard lights flashing like some ridiculous protest. I sighed, shaking my head. Some people really don't take no for an answer. I grabbed my phone and checked the app. The reservation was solid. My garage, my rules. But as I watched her pacing, waving at neighbors, my stomach sank. This wasn't just about a parking space anymore, it was personal. I grabbed my keys and stepped outside, determined to confront her calmly. "Karen, seriously, this has to stop," I yelled across the street. She looked up, a smirk plastered across her face. "Oh, so now you're the boss of the block? You think a lock and an app make you the parking police?" I took a deep breath. "It's not about being the police. It's about respect. You can't just take what's not yours. Every night, I've had to park half a block away. You're being inconsiderate and dramatic," she interrupted. Her tone was sharp, almost theatrical. "It's just a parking spot. People need to chill these days." I felt my blood boil, but I forced myself to stay calm. "It is just a parking spot. But it's mine. And boundaries matter. Not just for me. Anyone who lives here should expect the same respect." She laughed, the kind that makes your teeth ache. Boundaries? You mean control freak boundaries? You think a stupid app fixes life? Something in me snapped, not with rage, but with clarity. No, Karen, a stupid app doesn't fix life. But it reminds people that actions have consequences. That respect isn't optional. You're not above that. Her smirk faltered for a moment. Maybe she realized I wasn't going to back down. Maybe she understood that my garage wasn't just asphalt and walls, it was my peace. My sanctuary after long days? Finally, she rolled her eyes, muttered something under her breath, and drove off, leaving the street empty except for me and my thoughts. I closed the garage door slowly, feeling the tension drain from my shoulders. I realized that standing up for yourself doesn't mean winning battles against everyone who crosses you. It's about reclaiming control over your own life. That evening, I updated my app settings, ensuring the garage was strictly reserved. I sat on the concrete floor, leaning against the cool wall, reflecting. Life would throw Karens at everyone, people who test boundaries, who push limits, who believe they're entitled. But it's not about fighting endlessly. It's about knowing your worth and taking smart steps to protect it. And as I sipped my soda, I made a quiet promise. If someone like Karen tried again, I'd be ready, not just with a lock or an app, but with the confidence to stand firm, calmly and without apology. Little did I know the next challenge would be more than just a neighborly dispute. Karen's next move would push me in ways I never imagined, testing not just my patience but my integrity. It all came to a head 2 nights later. I was sitting in my garage, the faint hum of the refrigerator from the house next door the only sound, when my phone buzzed. Another alert from the garage app, attempted access denied. I frowned and glanced out the window. Karen's SUV was back, her headlights cutting through the night like accusatory beams. My stomach twisted. She had clearly spent the evening plotting. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped outside. Karen, this is ridiculous. Just leave, I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. She rolled down her window, her face flushed with anger. I'm just leaving my keys in the mail slot. You don't need to be so dramatic. Your keys? I shouted, bewildered. What do you even mean? You can't just... Relax, I'm not breaking anything, she interrupted, leaning out, smirking like I was overreacting. But maybe I can borrow this spot for just a little longer. You can always use the street, right? I felt my blood pressure spike. The street was half a mile from my front door, and I wasn't just talking about inconvenience. I was talking about respect, dignity, and a principle. No, Karen, you don't get to just take what's mine, I said, my voice firm. I've asked politely, I've set boundaries, and I've given you warnings. This ends tonight. She laughed, but there was a hint of uncertainty now. And what are you gonna do? Call the cops? I shook my head. No, I'm not calling anyone. I'm letting the rules do their work. I pointed to the app on my phone. This lock, this system, it's not about anger. It's about consequences. You chose to test boundaries, now you see the results. Karen stared at the lock, then back at me. For a long, tense moment, silence stretched between us, the kind that feels heavy enough to crush. Finally, she muttered, "Whatever," and drove off, leaving the street quiet and empty. I closed the garage door, took a deep breath, and leaned against it. Relief washed over me, but alongside it came clarity. Standing up for yourself doesn't always mean confrontation or yelling. It means taking steps to protect what's yours and maintaining your dignity. I sat down in the garage, running my hands over the cool concrete, reflecting on the past week. Life is full of Karens, people who push, test, and try to take what isn't theirs. But it's not about fighting every battle. It's about knowing your worth and setting boundaries firmly, smartly, and calmly. That night, I left a small note on the garage wall, almost as a mantra. Boundaries are respect. Protect yours. And as I turned off the lights, I realized something deeper. Peace isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about creating a space where respect is non-negotiable, where you take control of what matters to you, and where actions, not words, define your strength. The garage was mine again, not just physically,